Please notice I have shown you absolutely no work, except on a couple. I will wait a moment whilst you look. Again, I say do not bother trying to copy them all down. They are being recorded. There are the next two. And I will try. I can't quite squeeze all 5 on. Now I can. Now, I know, because this is not my first rodeo, that because people aren't asking questions is not because they don't get it. It is mostly because they haven't done it. But if you did attempt these, do you wish to ask about anything on this page? Hallie. Pardon me? C. This one? Not that one. The bottom C. That one. Okay. So let's work C. No factoring to do, yes? What is the common denominator? X plus 2, x minus 2. Is everybody, you good to there, Hallie? Okay. This side over here has x plus 2. What does it need? X minus 2. So I multiply this by x minus 2 to get 3x squared minus 6x. Yes? Minus, this needs the x plus 2, which gets me x squared plus 2x. Cool? Okay. What's 3x squared minus x squared? 2x squared. What's negative 6 minus 2x? No. Negative 6 minus 2 more. Negative 8x over x plus 2, x minus 2. Factor, factor, factor. What's coming out of there? 2x. What's staying in there? X minus 4 over x plus 2, x minus 2. No other canceling. And, of course, non-permissible values, but it's much more important that you can get to a point where you can find the non-permissible values. Everybody good? There is 133, the first 3. Check your work if you did it. Anybody want to see any of them? A? Certainly. Factor everywhere you can. Can I factor there? Yes? Can I factor there? x plus 5, x minus 5. Do you see any canceling? Where? X plus 5, x plus 5. So this first one is now 3 over x minus 5. Everybody cool? Yeah? Okay. Can I factor this one? Yes, what is it? 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. Yes? Over, can I factor this one? This is where you people are the worst at factoring. 2 times 5 is negative 10, yes? So I need factors of negative 10 that add to 9. That is 10 minus 1, yes? So it is x plus 10 over 2 and x minus 1 over 2. X plus 5 and 2x minus 1, right? X plus 5 and 2x minus 1. What do you see there that is cancelable? 2x minus 1. So now I have plus 2x plus 1 over x plus 5. What is my common denominator? X minus 5, x plus 5. Yes? What does this side need? X plus 5. 3x plus 15. Plus, what does this side need? X minus 5, right? So that is going to be 2x squared minus 9x minus 5. Yes? Now, any other 2x squareds? No. So I get 2x squared. Any other x's? 3 plus negative 9 is minus 6x. 15 plus negative 5 is plus 10 over x plus 5, x minus 5. And then, of course, that factors what comes out? 2. X squared minus 3x plus 5. That doesn't factor because there's no factors of 5 that add to 3 over x plus 5, x minus 5. Please notice you have done nothing new, but you have to do everything you need to do. Any of the rest? There are the last two. Most of you have a little bit of trouble with these because they scare you. But they shouldn't, should they? Right? They shouldn't scare you at all. Why? If I do them both, will we be happy? All right, let's look at that one first. Why does that scare you? There's an X on the bottom. So, but doesn't that in yellow mean 2 over 1 minus 6 over X? So what's the common denominator? X. So isn't this 2x minus 6? Isn't it? Now all of you know how to do that, right? Okay. And isn't that 1 over 1 minus 9 over x squared? Okay. So what's that? Isn't that x squared minus 9 over x squared? Isn't it? And this is over x, yeah? Right? Okay. What does that line in the middle right there mean? It means divide, right? So it means this divided by this, yes? But when I divide by a fraction, what do? I multiply by the reciprocal. And now I factor everywhere I see. Does that factor? 2x minus 3 over x times x squared over x plus 3, x minus 3. Do you see some cancellings? X minus 3, x minus 3. 1x. How many of these x's? One of them. What's left? 2x on top, x plus 3 on the bottom. Now, the reason I am not concerned by this is because as I work through, I watch. And you all get to a certain point where you all go, oh. Which means you know how to do a lot of it. Right? So that's why I'm not worried. Do I need to do the second one? What do I need to do there? That is 3 over 2 plus 3 over t. What is my common denominator? 2t. What does that guy have? What does he need? T. 3t. Plus, what does that guy have? What does he need? Times 2. 6. That's the top there. The bottom, in green, is t over t plus 6 minus 1 over t. What's the common denominator? T plus 6, right? What does that guy need? Needs a t. T squared. What does that guy need? T plus 6 minus t. Now this is where it gets tricky. Minus t plus 6 or minus 6? What's negative positive 6? Negative 6, right? Now, I have yellow divided by green, right? So what happens to that green one when I am doing division? There's the yellow. I am dividing by the green. So what happens? I reciprocate to t plus 6 over t squared minus t minus 6. Now, what should I do? Starts with an F, ends with an R, has acto in the middle of it. 3. Hey, Mr. Sadu. T.
You don't have tens in D.
Tens in D. I have no one in D. Over 2t times t plus 6 over, that factors to t plus 3, I lie, t plus 2 over t minus 3. Do you see some canceling? What's going? T plus 2. What else is going? T and t. What's left? 3 t plus 6 over 2 t minus 3. 3 and 2 do not simplify. Please understand, ladies and gentlemen, I've been warning you since the first day. Everything you know has to come into this year. Every single thing. This question, B, could almost be one of 3 questions that I put on a grade 10 final, couldn't it? It's got algebra, it's got factors, it's got fraction knowledge. If I gave you that question on a grade 10 final, you could have done it. Well, you had the skill to do it, right? And then the last 4. There's one of them There's 2 of them. There's 3 of them. And there's 4 of them. Once again, it all comes down to factoring. You did a quiz. I think the TOC might have marked it, but I haven't checked if she marked all of them. Okay, so I'll have to do that. Oh yeah, because the last question was open-ended, right? So you guys she's marked all the multiple choice? So why don't I just give you these back and then get your marks from you later in this class. But she made a mistake last time, so I should make sure she did these right. Huh? It's that quiz. X, yeah. Okay, so let's give these out. Kieran is not here. Isabel is not here. Joshua is here. There. Or Kira is there. Bailey is way back there. I like how the person who needs the crutches is the only person who uses everybody else just needs their backpacks. That's what I'm just kidding. Don't do that. I'm doing a bit. I'm in a comedic sense of mood, or a comedic mood today. Because I watched my new current favorite comic. I watched another Netflix special. John Mulaney. He's so funny. I know, he's brilliant. I do too, but we're stuck inside. It's the worst, I know. Yeah, I know. We'll mark it right now. Where's this clown? You don't need to guess on multiple choice. The answers are on the page. Mr. Abraham, what can I do for you?
Nothing. I'm in DeBreeze's room.
Just chilling?
Yeah, just chilling out. DeBreeze's room.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, rational expressions. There is the key, there is the answers. I will work through ones that you wish, but you can see you have them there. Right? Factor, 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 cancel. All right? Any of these you want to see? Anything? Any of these you want me to actually go over? No one? I am not going over all of them. 1, factor everywhere. There it is. That is factored, that is factored, that is factored. Then you just cancel. I can. Okay. What should I do? Now, again, I remind you all, when you are faced with a question that seems difficult or insurmountable, what should you do? Do one thing that you know what to do. What is the verb I just used 17 times in a row? Factor. So what is something you think you should try? Factor. That factors x plus 3 x minus 8. What about that one? X minus 8 x minus 3 divided by, which means what? Times, and you reverse these. So this goes up here. X plus 4, x minus 3. And this goes down here. 2 times 3 is 6. The factors of 6 that add to 7 are 6 and 1. So it is x plus 6, but not really plus 6 divided by 2. And x plus 1, but not really plus 1 divided by 2. Which is x plus 3 and 2x minus 1. Yes? Now, all you're doing is canceling. X minus 3, x minus 3. X minus 8, x minus 8. X plus 3, x plus 3. What's left? X plus 4 over 2x plus 1. B. Now, turn the page over and we'll go over this. It's out of 2. Again, holy crap, Mr. Myers, that's gigantic. I'm scared of it. What should I do? Factor. Because, really, what is this question? This question is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factoring questions from grade 10, right? All of you were in my grade 10 class. You all got a page of factoring that looked like this. Right? With a bunch of factoring to do, yeah? So take this, put it under there, and you would just factor. Factor the first one. Factor the 2 that add to 1. What are they? Positive 2 minus 1. So it is x plus 2 over 2 and x minus 1 over 2. We don't write it that way. It is x plus 1 times 2x minus 1. Yes? Now down to here. Factors of 6 times 12. 2 is negative 12. I need the factors of negative 12 that add to 1. What are they? 4 and 3. We know this. So it is x plus 3 over 6 and x minus 4 over 6. Simplify. 1/2, 2/3 over 2x plus 1 and 3x minus 2 times, factor this one. 2 times 1 is 2. I need the factors of the 1 that add to 3. It is x plus 2, x plus 1, but it's over 2. That's 1. The 2 goes to the front. X plus 1, 2x plus 1. Over. 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative factors of negative 6 that add to 5 are 6 minus 1. So x plus 6 over 2, x minus 1 over 2. Which gets me x plus 3 and 2x minus 1. Divided by, which means what? Multiply by the reciprocal. X plus 3 goes up top over, this needs to factor, x plus 1, x plus 1. Now, since I asked for non-permissible values, I need to check. Where? All the denominators, and because of that division, that one. So, x cannot equal negative 1/2, positive 3/2. I lie. Positive 2/3. Minus 3. Positive 1/2. Minus 1, and I've already got the minus 3. Then all I do is cancel. Is there a 2x plus 1 anywhere up top? Yes. Gone. Is there a 3x minus 2 anywhere else? Anywhere? No. So that's staying. Is there an x plus 3 anywhere up top? Yes. Gone. Is there a 2x minus 1 anywhere up top? Yes. Gone. Is there an x plus 1 anywhere up top? Gone. Gone. Leaving me with one more x plus 1. It's also up top. Gone. Gone. What's the only thing left? 1 over 3x minus 2. That was all out of 2. You decide how much you should get. Because let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, how many skills did you have to exhibit to do that question? Really? You had to be able to factor a trinomial and cancel. 2 math skills, right? Everybody good? Put your total on that quiz. I'll come and get it later when you're working. Okay. I'll wait for everybody to get to 136. What does an equation mean? This is like the 300th time some of you have heard me ask this question. What does it mean when I say I have an equation? Jack. Okay. I have a math thing that equals what? Something. Could be another math thing. Yes? So, here's what I mean. X plus 7. What's the answer? There isn't one. Why? Because there's no equal sign. X plus 7 equals 12. Now what's the answer? 5. Everybody good? Okay, what if I did this? X plus 7 equals 12. Is that an equation? Is it? Can it be solved? So you could tell me the value for x, yes? Everyone agree? How would you solve that? What would you personally do first? I'll write it over here where we've got more room. See, this is what I mean. You're all signed up to take pre-calc 11. You're looking at that, and nobody is talking to me. Somebody tell me what you would do to solve that. It's like a grade 6 equation. I'm not trying to put you down. You would subtract 1. From where, Harkirat? From the 1. Minus 1. Where else? Minus 1. So now I have what? No. X plus 6 equals We don't need the brackets anymore. There's nothing else over here. 12 minus x. Now what? You're going to add an x to both sides to eliminate the x. So now what have I got there? 2x plus 6 equals what? Now what? 2x equals 6. Now what? X equals 3. You can all do algebra, right? Okay, so an equation means I have one expression equal to another expression. Now, sometimes, like x plus 7 equals 12, you all will say, well, that's not really an expression, Mr. Myers. But it is, right? And what is my job always when I have an equation? You're going to simplify to get to my job, and my job is to what? Find what? My job is to find the unknown value or values that make the equation what? What am I trying to make this equation? What am I trying to make the left side of this equation do to the right side of this equation? Yes, I'm trying to find the unknown values that will make the equation true or equal on both sides. Yes, Mr. Radnor.
Sorry for interrupting.
No problem.
Just information from Mount Pi. They're talking about having summer school at Yale this year.
Of course they are. Where they're building.
Yeah, but I said to them, I said, your website still says Abbey Senior on it. They're like, oh, okay. My God. But anyways, because it'd be kind of important for us to know soon.
It would be.
But
Absolutely. So, gentlemen and ladies, if this wasn't here, what would you say are the instructions to solving an equation? What would you do? You just did it. Tell me what you do to solve an equation. You isolate the variable, yes? By eliminating everything else, right? Okay. Well, if there's rational equations, do you think we still want to isolate the variable? Do you think we still need to eliminate everything else? How do we eliminate stuff in rational problems, which is what we spent the last 5 days doing? Factor and cancel. So, solve rational equations by doing the same thing we always do. Step 1. What do you think the first step is? What's the first step in a complex problem? Simplify it. And 99 times out of 100 in this unit, what does that mean? Factoring and cancel. What do you think is the second step? Remember, we're doing rational expressions now, not just this. So if I added this to the equation, what do you know about that value? It's got a restriction. So what do you think your second thing needs to be? Find your restrictions. Find your NPVs. Because what if you do all your work and you get x equals 0? Would that be allowed? Of course not. So find your NPVs, which you already know how to do. How do you find your NPVs? Where do we look? Any denominators. Because remember, when we're multiplying, there's going to be 2, isn't there? Any denominators, they can't equal 0. What's my little thing to remember there? If I am dividing by m over n, then both m and n can't equal 0 because of the reciprocal thing. Right? That's not news to anybody, is it? What do you think my third step is after I've factored everything? If it's an equation. Think back to what we've been doing in previous questions. Where's one with work? In this question, for example, I simplified everything, yes? Right? And then what did I do? What did I have to do? Oh, this is a bad one. Here. What did I have to do here after I've simplified and canceled? This, right now, is just an expression. What did I need to do? Why did I highlight the addition sign and then the denominators? What did I need to do to work with that expression? I needed my common denominator. So what do you think is the third thing I need to do here? Right? Combine not your terms, your terms for your operation. So, if it's plus or minus, I have to do a lowest common denominator, don't I? If it's multiply, then I just got to cancel. And if it's divide, I got to reciprocate and then cancel, depending on what I need to do. And then the fourth thing, what do you think it is? I am now to the point where I have it as simple as I can get it, and I have something equals something. What is my last step? Like here, when I had something equals something. Right, my last step is to solve for, and I'm going to write x, but we know it's not always x, yes? Now there is one other thing we have to remember here. There's a fifth step. We have to check if x works. Because we've already seen in previous questions, we may get an x, like when we were doing a time question, and that x is negative. Does that x actually work? No. So let's run through these with this super easy one. Step 1. Can I do any factoring there? Yes or no? No. No factors. I can move right on to number 2. Are there non-permissible values? What is it? X cannot equal 0. Which means if I do all this work and at the end of it all, x equals 0, can I solve this? No. Good. What's 3? Combine your terms. I got to combine these, yes? So I have x over 4 minus 7 over x equals 3 over what? 1. What must all of these be since it is a subtraction? They all must have what? Common denominator. What is it? 4x, yes? So this whole thing must be over. I don't want to use blue, you idiot. This whole thing must be over 4x, yes? What does this guy need? This guy has a 4, so he needs x. What does this guy have? So he needs what? 4. What does this guy need? 4x. Now I just multiply. What's x times x? X squared. Minus, what's 7 times 4? 28. Equals, what's 3 times 4? 12x. Is everybody cool? Now, stop and think back to grade 3. Once everything is over the common denominator, do we ever need it again? Do we need it again to do the work? No. If I had 1 over 6 plus 3 over 6 plus 7 over 6, do I need that 6 again to do the work? Because what's the answer here? 11 over 6. So, is this part of the work now? No, it's not. So in my head, I am going to, and I'm going to use a real funky color, I'm going to scratch it out. Why? Because it's not needed to add in this, is it? So what do I have now when I solve for x? What's the only thing that matters? Just the numerators, yes? X squared minus 28 equals 12x. Now look at that. Does that have the building blocks of something that you have seen? Doesn't that have all the parts of a quadratic trinomial? How would I make it look like a quadratic trinomial? What would have to happen? I would have to move 12x over here, yes? So I would get x squared minus 12x minus 28 equals what? 0. Can we solve that? Could we do the quadratic formula? Could we factor it? That factors. That is x plus 14. I lie. That is x minus 2. X plus 2. X minus 14. We'll finish this up tomorrow. See you then.